Window washers of Reddit. What is the most memorable thing you have seen while on the job? One guy was on his computer wearing complete death metal attire, spiked hair, full body leather and heavy mascara eyeliner. He was facing the window and in turn me. He locked eyes with me the entire time I was doing my job. He looked like he was going to murder me. That's when I saw what he was watching on his computer. My Little Pony. That's when his demeanor changed. He realized what I saw and smiled from ear to ear. This was 25 years ago. Cleaning second floor windows in a hospital from ladders. I arrived at a window to see a lady giving birth. The child was probably half in and half out is as best as I can describe it. The people in the room were so concentrated on what they were doing they didn't notice me, so I made a hasty descent. A couple of windows further down, same floor, I see a man pacing up and down with his hands behind his back. Dark hair, tidy mustache, around 30. Will never forget his face. No idea why he wasn't in with his partner, but I had no doubt this was the father. Skip down a few windows. 3 minutes per window including moving the ladder, so not that long. And I arrive at a window to see the lady being wheeled in on a wheelchair with a baby in her arms. The other mothers, maternity ward, clapping, and the father walking behind with a huge beaming smile. It felt like it was out of a movie with a camera following the story. Quite unforgettable. I rappel buildings in Nick as part of my job. It's a job that already draws attention, but as a female even more so. However, while on rope it's quiet and you get to peer into the lives of others. Did a drop last Monday and I can 100% confirm that people do not wear pants while working remotely. The best thing I saw was a small girl playing with a giraffe toy right on the windowsill. Scared the shit out of me as her little face came into view like 3 inches from mine. She screamed and her mom came in. Her mom proceeded to tell her girls can have awesome jobs if they want them, and we took selfies together. A tornado. We'd had little warning before we saw it about 1 kilometer away. It didn't appear to be moving side to side much, which indicates that it's coming towards you. We winched down about 4 floors, jumped onto a fire escape and got inside the building, rode out the storm inside and then went home. I used to window clean hotels, which meant going room to room with a master key to let myself in. I've seen quite a few dildos and vibrators being proudly displayed on bedside tables, but the one situation that stuck with me the longest was just walking down the corridor and hearing 2 middle-aged people going at it in one of the rooms. It was a Georgian hotel in the Cotswolds, so very HOI. Their screams were getting louder and louder and people were actually coming out of their rooms because it was so audible. All the housekeepers at the end of the corridor were doubled over laughing. That couple had no idea how intimately they shared their experience with us. Not a window washer, but I was the victim. It's a Saturday morning and I wanted to have a nice lie-in. My headboard for my bed is up against the window, so I sleep facing away from the window and have to turn around to see what is outside to open the curtains. On this fateful day, I woke up to some sound, but it wasn't alarming, so I just carried on as usual, stretched, then turned around to open my curtains. Then I see his face. The window cleaner clearly didn't expect me to open the curtains and got a little scared. I too didn't expect to see someone's face looking back at me through the window. Early on a Saturday morning, he saw me almost fall off my bed in sheer terror. Paying him at the door when he was done was funny. We both laughed and pretended it didn't happen. I work for a private estate in the local polo club. I was under the impression that the owners were not home at the time, but I was wrong. I was washing windows this particular morning and I came around to the restroom window and got in a perfect view of this older couple in the shower together. The window looked out on a private fenced-in patio, so that's why it wasn't fogged glass. The window by the toilet is the same way. Bad design in my opinion. I've never moved faster in my life than I did catapulting myself backwards out of view of this naked couple. I don't believe they saw me because the next time we ran into each other, everything seemed normal from their end, haha. I reckon they were a little bit preoccupied. Not a window washer, but I used to install them. One afternoon we'd gone out to a job where some a-hole neighborhood kids had smashed several back windows of a nice elderly couple's place. We worked our way from top. First 2 windows belonged to an ensuite bathroom, while the third was the bedroom to which the ensuite was attached. The master. My job was to clear any remaining glass from the area so the other bloke could put the new panel in. Anyway, I noticed a small urn on the desk by the window with the name Triple Scoop engraved upon it, along with 2 dates, about 4 years apart. Probably a pet, hopefully a pet, I'd thought. Didn't think about it for more than a minute. Then went back to work. We finished the upstairs windows and went down to work on the 2 in the kitchen. Holy sh! There was a wall with 5 long shelves, each one holding several urns similar to Triple Scoop upstairs. Turns out the elderly couple used to breed and race greyhounds, and the urns contained the remains of their deceased racers. Triple Scoop was their first champ. Oh, I have a good one. When I was doing my PhD, one of the other students had to wash windows at the weekend to make ends meet. Anyway, he was washing a block of flats one day. He didn't know this, but the block was home to a female lecturer in the same department as us. He washes the window of her bedroom and she walks in completely naked. He stares in shock. She grabs a towel and it's over. The next day she files an harassment complaint about him because she assumed he was pretending to be a window cleaner to see her naked. Luckily his employer could vouch for him and the matter was dropped. Very awkward. Not a window washer, but I saw a window washer dressed up like Batman while cleaning the windows of the cancer ward in the hospital. Grandmother had cancer. The child cancer center was through a different door on the same hall as the elderly, 60+ cancer center. I was 9 at the time and thought it was awesome. Cheered me up for a while. Not a proper window washer so to speak, but the clothing store I worked had the insides of their big from windows cleaned every Sunday morning by a staff member. A lot of the time it was me. Now people could come into the mall and wander around, we just wouldn't let them in the stores. This is because the upstairs was a food court and open. So one morning I'm in the store on the little ladder cleaning the window and I spy this dude standing just kind of out of the way of my line of sight, but he can't see me. I'm thinking, great. It's 8 AM on a Sunday, I'm possibly still drunk, I don't need this crap, it's too early. So I turn around to call my manager over to point him out so she can call security. While I'm turned around he runs up to the window, waits till we are both looking and pulls out his dick and wanks all over the store window. Yup, he was escorted out and arrested and one of the mall cleaners had to clean the mess up, poor dude. Not a window washer, but I live in a 2-story building so we don't really bother with real curtains in the bathroom. We only have an extremely thin, see-through white fabric over the window. The doors in the shower are glass. So, on this fateful day, I was taking a shower and my mom had unfortunately neglected to inform me that our gutter was getting repaired that day. So you can imagine my surprise when, while I was just minding my bussiness, getting soaped up in the shower, naked as the day I was born, all of a sudden I see the figure of man ascending into the frame of my window. I am not proud to say I completely panicked and just dropped to the floor. So, dripping wet and covered in soap, I made my way, crawling over the bathroom floor to open the door. I escaped. The worst part is that at that point the guy was probably so high up that he saw everything. The most horrifying moment of my life, but it does make for a good story today. One of my first jobs, I worked as a window cleaner in a little town in England. For a year maybe. Saw some sights. Once saw an old lady getting changed. Nearly jumped off the ladder in fear but luckily didn't see anything. Was in charge of collecting the money though and it was real awkward. One time an old man sat in his armchair and watched me intently with a deadpan expression as I cleaned his living room windows. 3 of them. I was pretending I couldn't see him. But I could. Boss' son also worked with us and literally all dogs hate him. No idea why. Watched maybe 15 dogs chase this dude over the year. One bit his ass cheek so hard he had to get stitches, lol. Had to clean a 4-story building on a hill and boss used to prop the ladder up with 2 bricks under one leg. Super unsafe. While I shook my way up the ladder, all the window ledges were also covered in rusty nails to stop pigeons from landing, so I'd be like 40 foot in the air on an unstable ladder, shaking, trying to clean a window behind 100 giant rusty nails. Terrifying. My favorite story, I was cleaning away and looking at this guy's room and noticed a skateboard. I'm also a skater, and thought, oh damn, I recognize that deck. It belonged to a guy I'd met like twice at the local park. The next day I was at the skate park and walked over to him. Bear in mind we've exchanged like 8 words before this. I sat next to him and kept a complete stone expression and said, hey, you look like the kind of guy who'd have black bed sheets. He was like, WTF, I do have black sheets. I was like, with white squares. I bet your room's blue as well. And he's not acably freaked. Like, how the F do you know all this? and then I had to drop it. I'm your window cleaner mate. Saw your deck in a room yesterday, ahaha. Fast forward 11 years and he's currently my oldest and closest friend. It was last summer. I was cleaning my dad's car with the help of my little brother. It was a bright sunny day and I began cleaning. After completing the outside cleaning of the car, windows, doors, etc., I began to take off the carpet kind of stuff from inside the car to dust it off. Finally, when I was polishing the bits of the dashboard, I noticed something glimmering from within a crack on the dashboard. Holy sh! Guess what? It was my mom's wedding ring which she lost a year ago. It was in the car but in a small narrow crack. I wonder how it must have gotten there, but I remember TGE happiness on my mom's face when she found out about it. If you are married, you probably know how much a wedding ring is worth. Not in terms of money but its value and memories. I gave it to my dad and told him to put it on my mom's finger. OMG. It was so wholesome to see. They even took us to malls that day and bought me and my brother a hoodie. Just wanted to get this out and I found a perfect opportunity. Window cleaner for over 12 years now. I've seen horrible things, also hilarious things. Once helped catch a pair of yobs who were on the run from the police. Was just minding my own business cleaning a customer's windows when the fence panels behind us in the garden exploded. Like it started raining splintered wood and dirt. Some scum had nicked a car and cornered way too fast. They shot the corner, jumped the curb and obliterated the garden and the nicely parked up BMW in the drive. Both knobheads ran immediately and hopped the gardens, and in seconds out of nowhere there's a helicopter circling and K9 units on them both. They were flat face down on the pavement in a matter of moments. Big burly coppers pinning them down. Housekeeper checking in. This one lady liked to feed birds. Like 50 pounds every 2 weeks. No screens. Sills caked in filth and the windows themselves had been neglected over time. They were Anderson windows so you could pull them in from the inside. Well, the tension string broke and I'm literally holding the window by a string and this bird straight up flies into my face. I was shocked. The bird was shocked. I screamed. I like to imagine the bat did too. Bird flew away and I got the window locked back in place and called maintenance. This was on the 2nd floor too. Not window washing, but as a kid I had a paper route and on collecting $day I knocked and looked through the screen door to see what appeared to 11 years old me to be MRS. Jones inflating MR. Jones by his valve stem in the middle of the living room. That was a good summer. I'm not a window washer. I used to work overnights at a hotel and would monitor the security cameras. They would detect motion and a little indicator would blink when motion was, well, detected. Anyway, it always gave me the creeps when I'd hear the elevator ding. I'd run out to the lobby to grate the guest to make sure they didn't need something or whatever, and nobody would get off the elevator. I'd watch the tapes and see the motion indicator blinking on a floor, then see the elevator open on that floor, then see the elevator open on the ground floor and the motion indicator blink on the camera down the hall. Gave me the heebie-jeebies. Also, one time I was in my office in the middle of the night and it sounded like someone banged on the door with the side of their fist. Just one single slam. You can see me reacting to it on the video. My head whipped to face the door where the sound came from. Then immediately whipped around to stare at the camera to see who the F was outside my door. There was nobody there, and none of the motion sensors had picked up anything. Not fun finishing the rest of that shift.